All right, guys. I think that framers should be licensed, just like your mechanical, electrical, and plumbers. Let's get into it. All right, guys, this is Emmett Stallworth, the Alpha Builder. And guys, I actually just did this video right here. I did it as a live stream, but I guess I'm having some issues with my OBS, which is the software that I use to do my live streaming. And when I was doing the live stream, it was kind of choppy. But guys, what I want to talk about today, and you guys can, this right here creates content. When you guys engage or you send me you reply to some of the videos that I've been putting out, it creates content. But this right here, video here was inspired by a discussion I had with my building class. I had a management class that I was teaching. And we talked about this. And the reason we talked about this subject is because I had one of my students, that's aspiring, he wants to do flips. He wants to do those flip, how you take these houses, especially in most cases in lower income neighborhoods, and you take them and, you fix them up and you turn around and you sell them. And what's happening is that a lot of these flip guys, they're actually capitalized and they're making a lot of money, but they don't have to be knowledgeable on construction itself. So what that does is it opens up the platform where any and everybody is jumping into that game. They jumping into the flipping houses, because it's involved, it's with real estate guys. And what they're doing is they're jumping into this thing, man, and they have little to no knowledge on construction. And what they're doing is they're doing things that are, the things that they're doing in these construction jobs is, they're removing load-bearing walls and things. It's a mess, man. But it's getting to the point to where it's hurting the homeowners. It's hurting the people who actually buy the house, the homeowners. It's hurting the insurance companies. They having to do claims and stuff, after the fact, things like that. Things don't work out right. It's affecting the local municipality because the homeowners are going to start complaining to that local municipality. And it's also, so once that gets triggered and once that gets done, it's going to make its way all the way to the Alabama Home Builder Licensing Board. It's going to make it to those guys. And then those guys are going to have to send extra manpower to come down here and try to figure out what's going on, And, it's not like they have unlimited staff. It's probably not a lot of guys down there that's working with the state, and they have to service the whole state. And guys, this right here is specific to Alabama, but I'm sure there's some other states that are in a similar situation. And so I just felt like that it'll be this is not a field. If you logically look through this thing, it would be better to make sure that framers, just like mechanical, electrical, plumbers, framers should be licensed as well. And they should have the same setup. They should have an apprentice. You have to frame for so many years. Now, I'm not talking about carpentry guys. Carpentry, those guys can do their thing, but I think that framers, and just excuse me just for a second, I got a robot that's going on here. But framers, framers should have the same setup like mechanical, electrical, plumbers. So you have an apprentice, after so many years, that apprentice can sit for the journeyman test. And then once you take the journeyman test, you have to sit for so many years. You are actually allowed to go out on the site and actually work without the master being there. You can work alone without anybody, a master supervising you. So then that framer should go do that. He should work so many years under a master framer or a builder. Because I think the builder and the framing license, as a builder, you should be, as a licensed home builder, you should be exempt from having the framing license. Very similar to the way they got the roofing license. All right, the roofing license set up. And this would make it really, really easy, guys. It would make it really easy, because what it does is that having a framing license within itself is going to force accountability. So these guys can't, because what's happening now, let's just say you got these flip guys. These guys is going out here, they're just flipping houses. They have little to no knowledge on construction and load-bearing walls and how things actually work. They have little to no knowledge on code compliance. Guys, the code, if you know how to navigate through that code book would tell you how far beams are supposed to span, or floor and joists, ceiling joists, headers, and things of that nature. It tells you how far they're supposed to span. It tells you how many fasteners that you got on each particular part. Guys, the code actually, but you got to know how to navigate through that code book. And I find out that, guys, I know some builders struggle with navigating through the code book. And guys, I think the reason that I'm pretty good at navigating through the code book is because I used to be a building official. And I was a building official for about 4 years in a local municipality here in Alabama, and that helped me. Guys, I learned more about code and framing from being a building official and actually teaching building courses on framing, guys. And that's what really helped me, guys. But I think that you should have that, guys. We should have these guys who's doing any kind of framing or any kind of load, anything that got to do with load. I don't even think it has to do with it, even if it don't have anything to do with load. If you're out here pulling permits, especially if you're a flipper, you should either be a licensed home builder, have a licensed home builder involved, or a licensed framer involved. And you can do it very, very similar, guys. I mean, we can do it very similar to the way that we have it here. Because, guys, if you guys look at this right here, if you go, let's just say, for instance, you go out and you do a job. You got a job going on. These are the questions that you ask. So, is the cost of the undertaking over $10,000? So if it's over $10,000 and you say yes, then you either have to have an unlimited license or a limited license. Now, limited license, really, to be honest with you, is that part, the limited license. Sorry, guys, I'm messing up here. That limited license is the part that allows that builder. It actually pulls that builder in. I can't get back to my, yes. That limited license, this is the license that says that, hey, if you're doing one thing, say if I'm doing framing or if I'm doing decks, and this undertaking is over $10,000, then I need to have a limited license. This would kind of get that framer. But for the flip guys, it don't. You see, because what the flip guys are going to do, and guys, you got to understand how the mindset of these guys operate. These guys, their sole purpose in what they're doing is for profit only. That's it. Profit only. You know, and so if those guys are trying to turn a profit, they're not concerned about trying to hire a license or somebody who has a limited license. They're not concerned about that. If the local municipality is not forcing them to pull those guys in. Like the local municipality, if me as a builder and I go pull a permit, I got to have the mechanical guy pull his own permit under my permit, electrical and HVAC, I'm sorry, the mechanical, electrical, and plumbers, those guys got to pull their permits under my permit. But if you're a flip guy and you serving as the builder, because you signed the affidavit to be the builder, you're not concerned about that. You know, and here's what's happening, guys. What's happening is, so most of these neighborhoods are places where these flip guys are going to flip houses. They're going to go buy the house. And it's going to be an older house, guys. The older houses that we have today, they're very compartmentalized. They're chopped up. Got a lot of rooms in them. In order to sell those houses, they want to do what they call an open floor plan, right? So they want to go in here and they want to remove walls, right? And in most cases, those walls they're removing are going to be load-bearing walls. And not only just load-bearing walls, but some of them are going to involve engineering that you got to go get engineered. And so what happens is those guys go in here and they gut these houses out. Even with the local municipality involved, you know, unless you got a really good building official and inspectors that can really go in here and look at the plans on the front end, plans on the back end, and really go through. And when they're doing their plan review, they catch this stuff. And then they get these guys to go get engineers to come out and redraw it, and they go out there and check it out. That would actually work. You could actually do that. But now, what happens when you have some of these municipalities where you don't really, you got one guy in town that wears all the hats. He's the plumbing inspector, the electrical, he does it all. He's the building official. It makes it very difficult for him to lock these guys down, especially these guys that's going out here that's flipping these houses, and they have little to no knowledge on construction, guys, because it's not about construction for them, it's about profit. And so, but I think that if you did, but you kind of lock it down for the most part. You don't let these guys pull mechanical. You know, these guys can't pull mechanical permits. Gotta let my dog out. So that's what you have, guys. But like I said, this right here. So once these guys, if you have these guys to get a framing license, number one, that would allow accountability. So let's say I'm a flip guy, and I go to Birmingham to go pull a permit. Well, you know, Birmingham will say, "Oh, what are you doing? Give me some plans." So I give them the plans. This is a house, guys. I give them the plans. All right. Then they can require them a demo plan and a regular plan. Demo plan and then what they're trying to do. But most of the people that work, especially at the front desk of a local inspection department, they're not going to be those guys. Now, you can send that stuff to plan review, which they probably should. And the plans examiner probably can catch it and probably won't. But that work that's shown on there, especially if it has anything to do with removing load-bearing walls and things of that nature, they should require, or if there's any kind of just, if they just suspect that there's going to be some major changes in the structure, they need to require those guys to have somebody to pull. Either you have a home builder with the unlimited license come in and pull a permit in that under his permit, or you have a framer to come in, a licensed framer come in and pull his permit under that, under his permit and do the work. And that way you would have, if that framer does something wrong or there's a complaint on the back end, if that framer does something wrong, we have remedy. We have accountability. The problem is, when you flip these houses, what happens is, in Alabama, we live in what we call the buyer beware state. So that means that when you go buy a house, you better get your inspectors to come in on the front end and look at everything and make sure everything is right on the front end. Because if they can't see it all, or if they can't catch everything, then you just out of luck. Now, our inspectors, our home inspectors in Alabama have to be licensed, and they have to take a test as well. But most of the stuff that they're going to be looking at, like load-bearing walls and things like that, and whether or not they took a beam out the basement that supported 2 or 3 loads and it's going to collapse eventually, a lot of those things, once they clean everything up and fix everything up, and these things are happening behind the walls, it's very difficult for even the best inspector to catch those things, because you done covered it up now. Or you don't even understand the engineering. If you're the inspector, you just kind of going in looking at the things that you visibly see that's wrong with it, and you're not catching all that other stuff. So it's very hard to catch. But this way, the framers are licensed, then, and you have to hire a framer that should know his stuff, or a builder, then that would allow the state to have some kind of consequence, so that when these flippers sell those houses, these people, well, once again, guys, we're in a buyer beware state, and I don't know if you can legislate that buyer beware quick enough to fix all this stuff, but we can do the other thing. We can do the framing license quicker than we can do to legislate the buyer beware state, because now you got to change a whole bunch of things. But now those homeowners, when you buy those used houses, you have a remedy. You know, now we can go back and look at, hey man, did you guys hire a framer? Or well, we can deal with the framer, or whoever the framer is. We can deal with their general liability insurance policy if needed. And this is the issue, man. These flip guys are circumventing. They're maximizing profit, but they're circumventing just being accountable and having the knowledge, the solid knowledge of a builder to be able to be out here navigating like builders. And then, you know, you got these guys. I mean, you got these guys out here. I mean, these guys are selling courses online, man, how to flip houses and do this and do that. And man, I mean, they're $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a course. And so they got everybody out here. These people out here, everybody think that they're builders now. And they're operating like builders, and they're messing these places up. And then the people who's left with trying to fix all this stuff is going to be the licensor board, the local municipality, the building officials, the homeowners who bought that product, bought that house, and I would even argue the builders who are competent, because they should have went out and hired a builder. You know, go out and hire somebody who's knowledgeable in this thing right here if you don't want to do it. So this is what I just wanted to put this out. I think that we really need to do this right here, man. I mean, you got people that are out here building, you know, they building stuff, things collapse. And not only that, man, like first responders, you know, guys, the code, there's a reason for the code. The code is designed as a life safety manual. It's a safety book. That's all it is. But it's a reactive safety book. And when I say a reactive safety book, most of the things in the code was reactive. They did something, somebody got hurt, they make a code to fix that problem. Yeah, that's how the code, that's what the code is, guys. And you think about it this way, man, if these guys are not framing these houses right, so they're not framing the houses right, they missing loads are not stacking correctly, the engineering is off, they didn't do it according to the engineered plans and things of that nature. What happens when the first responders, the house catch on fire and the first responders come in there? And those loads are not holding long enough so they can get in there and check to see whether or not, now you put their life in jeopardy. So these are the arguments that we can make, guys, for that. And not only that, man, it makes it where people Only the people who are competent in these fields are out here doing it. Takes away these jackleg jokers who's just trying to make a quick dollar. They don't have they never even took any courses on nothing. No CEUs, no none of that stuff. And guys, it also helped some of these framers who are already out here. So you got framers that's already out here. They got to take CEUs, continuing education units, each year, so they can hold, because a lot of these framers out here, guys, and I tell you, even on a job site I'm doing right now, I got to be out there every day. As a builder, and I understand this stuff, but I got to be out there every day catching everything, because, you know, these guys been framing for 20, 30 years. My framer right now has been framing for me for 20 years, guys. And I have to be out there every day. Me or somebody got to be out there every day watching them. You got to understand this right here, man. These houses have over 300,000 parts on them. You got to watch, and I got to watch it before they get too far gone. They'll go out here and because they don't know, and guys, and a lot of time there's an English barrier. They looking at the plans, but there's a language barrier there in some cases. They can look at the pictures, but if you're forcing these guys to have a framing license, at least the head guy, master framer, he got his framing license. Then you can then they got to have continuing education units each year, which means that they got to go learn the new stuff. Because what's happening to these guys, they're not changing the way they've been doing things for 20 years. And when they go out there and frame your house up, they're doing what they've been doing for 20 years. The code cycle changes every 3 years. Not saying that all the framing stuff is going to change, but there may be some small changes in the framing portion that these guys need to be understanding. This is why they got the CEUs. It's a good idea, guys. Guys, once again, like, share, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, man. I mean, this is just a discussion that we had in my class, and I said that the remedy would be to fix these flip guys and get these guys on board. And this is not to hurt these guys. It's just to make these guys, either you go learn about building and you get your framing license if you want to be in this game, or you go hire somebody who do understand it. This would force that. And this would help everybody else out. You guys have a good one.